Hi guys, one of the biggest issues with traveling within Africa is the lack of information. What are the requirements for travel? What are my visa requirements, for example, as a Nigerian to go to Ivory Coast, to go to Kenya, to go to Mozambique, to go to Tanzania? The truth is some countries and others are really good at displaying this information, making it easily accessible to get this information, whilst others aren't. Many countries in Africa don't even display their specific visa travel requirements for specific countries. And even if they do, they may not even update it. Over the past few years, I have created quite a few videos yearly on where are the visa-free countries for Nigerian citizens. I haven't done it for this year, but maybe I should. When creating these videos, many of you may not know that with regard to where I get my information from, I don't go to the embassy's website because I don't actually trust that it will update it. What I actually do is I individually call, most of those embassies up in the UK. So I call the UK embassies. So for example, where's the South African embassy in the UK, the Kenyan embassy in the UK, I call the UK embassies of those countries up because I feel like they would have the most up-to-date information. In today's video though, I'm going to be sharing with you an ordeal of a Nigerian citizen that flew to Mozambique, for vacation and was deported, or should I say refused entry upon arrival. Honestly, her experience was very, very painful to read, and I believe one a lot of Nigerians could relate to. I implore you to watch the video up to the end, to share your own personal experiences in the comment section below, to also share your thoughts with regard to what we can do as people or what our governments need to do to ensure that situations like these doesn't happen again. I actually remember an incident whereby it was Tanzania actually, a couple of years ago, actually changed their rules with regard to Nigerians needing a visa, something they never needed before, and a lot of people flew to Tanzania and got basically deported back, right? So this is another similar situation. So let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Before I get started though, hi guys, if it's your first time seeing my face, my name is Sassy Funke and I'm a Nigerian travel and lifestyle content creator, really creating to help Nigerian travelers travel better and smarter, like Nigerians globally. I am here to basically educate, to give you insights, in travel. And I really hope that sounds like something you would be interested in. If it is, make sure to hit that red subscribe button down below and give this video a huge thumbs up. So this lady actually shared her story on Twitter, and I'm going to be reading out her series of tweets now, Her name is Pamela Addy. This tweet has pretty much gone viral with a lot of people sharing their own personal experiences, but let's go for it now. So she says, I left Lagos to Mozambique last week. I plan to be there for about a week and return to Nigeria. As I always do before travel, I researched travel and visa requirements. What I found for citizens of Nigeria is that we can get information on arrival. In fact, I couldn't find any information on the Mozambique embassy or consulate in Nigeria, which led me believe that there isn't any. The logistics officer and travel agent found the same information that I did. Nigerians get visa on arrival. My boss even wrote a letter confirming my employment, including a return ticket and hotel reservation confirmation directly from the hotel. So she had everything. She said all paid for. I was ready to go. Well, that was until I got to Mozambique after a 22-hour flight time. Let's just talk about how inaccessible African countries are to each other. 22 hours when you're not going to Japan. The immigration officer asked for my passport, hotel, and return ticket. I provided those. Then she asked me for my visa. I didn't understand why she was asking for that when everything we searched said visa on arrival. She insisted that yes, I'll get visa on arrival, but I have to provide a letter of invitation. So what she was definitely, the lady, the officer was saying is that you can get visa on arrival, but you actually need a letter of invitation. I asked where or who the letter was to come from. She said it has to come from the Mozambique embassy in my country inviting me. So essentially, the Mozambique embassy in Nigeria has to provide this letter of invitation. Her English wasn't really great, so I often asked her to repeat the questions, which I think angered her. But nowhere did it state that. With all our research, we didn't see that information anywhere. So I told her that. She insisted that I needed the letter, otherwise I could not enter. So I asked if there was an address she could provide. She didn't. I asked if there's a website that shows this requirement. She didn't. So how was I to find this information if she couldn't show me? She then showed me a sample of the letter, which I couldn't understand because it was in Portuguese. That's all she did. Next thing, she put my passport aside and asked me to wait. I asked her what I was waiting for. She angrily said, "Wait." So I stepped aside. After a few minutes, a man appeared, took my passport and asked me for the same letter. His English was better, so we communicated. I explained the same thing again. All information online says visa on arrival. He said, yeah, but that's why I should have asked somebody who has been to Mozambique before coming. Mozambique. How can you tell someone that you should have asked somebody else for information that you as a government entity needs to provide? What if that person went 5 years ago? What if information has changed, right? Like that is terrible. For a country trying to promote tourism, that's a shitty thing to say, and even shittier travel policy. I'm sure she was thinking she didn't say that, I think. What happens to people like me who know no one like that? Like who doesn't know anyone like that? He said he's sorry, but that's their policy. I asked what can be done, and he said nothing because it takes 1 month to get this letter. So a month to get a visa to visit a country, Africa. And since I don't have it, I'd have to go back to my country just like that. Then he left with my passport, came back a few minutes later to ask if I had any luggage. I said yes, 1 suitcase. This was when I knew things were getting serious. I asked the woman again if there was anything I could do to solve the problem. She didn't respond or even look at me. Compassion? So she took pictures of my passport page, return tickets, hotel reservation, and COVID test result with her phone. I don't know if she sent it to someone, but when I peeped at her phone, it looked like a WhatsApp message. Then she kept her phone down for about 15 minutes and checked again, then called another staff. That person escorted me to get my luggage. I still asked her if there was anything I could do. She said that's their policy and I cannot enter if I don't have this letter. So there I was in the airport, no internet, no way of reaching the outside world, and no information on how to solve this problem. I asked if I could use anyone's phone to let my people waiting for me know what's happening. They just asked me to follow them. So they were not even helpful. Well, let's keep going. We entered a waiting hall. That was when an officer from the airline appeared and gave me a new boarding pass. That's how you know it's serious now. I looked at it and it was an economy class ticket. I told him I traveled business class, so why was I given an economy class ticket? You know what, this is my girl right here. This is my girl. I would say the same. If you're going to send me back on the class that I booked for, right? He said I didn't have a choice in the matter. So this was actually, an officer, probably an officer of the airport. He said I didn't have a choice in the matter. He told me that my passport would be returned to me when I arrived in Lagos, like I was some kind of criminal. Essentially, this is the way they treat like people criminals that have been deported. So I can't even imagine how she felt. Like I'm trying to patronize to see another African country, and they're basically sending me back home like a criminal. The plane I came in was about to return, and I was to get on it. But I didn't want to leave without letting anyone know what happened. So one of the officers agreed to let me use his phone. I called someone in Mozambique to let them know and to let my boss know. Then they escorted me to the plane. The flight attendant saw me and asked what happened. I told her, and when I showed her my new economy class boarding pass, she asked me to pick up my any business class seat I like. that was a silver lining in my ordeal. Thank goodness. Like, God bless that person. Like, that is compassion, right? That I feel like sometimes is missing, not just in Nigeria as a country, on our continent, as we can clearly see. I was so touched by the kindness because she didn't have to, but she could probably see my disappointment, sadness, anger, and probably thought to make it a bit more manageable for me. When we got back to Addis, I wasn't allowed to leave the airport because they wouldn't release my passport, despite the 12-hour layover. So for 12 hours, they made me sleep on a metal chair in the airport overnight. Such inhumane treatment for someone who isn't a fugitive. Agreed. That was so unnecessary. Because typically they would actually put you in a hotel for that layover. That was how I returned after a pointless journey over 3 days. Now, I don't know if this was personal or if this is the treatment they give Nigerians or anything like that. I don't know. But it's unfair and unwise to have a policy that people find out about after they've arrived, or by being lucky enough to know someone who has traveled before and knows of the policy. This is a diplomatic failure and a very poor tourism policy. As I type this, I haven't been able to find a Twitter handle for the Mozambique government. Such information should not be something only a privilege should have, right? Everybody should have this information, unless they're intentionally not making information public to prevent certain unsuspecting people from entering their country. It makes absolutely no sense. As it stands now, if I wanted to visit Mozambique again, I have no idea on how to proceed or how to get that letter. Imagine the number of people like me who they have turned back. Imagine if my life depended on making this trip, or if I had planned to go somewhere else after Maputo. Anyway, I wish I could give you more information on how to prevent this from happening to you, but I can't, and that's the most frustrating thing about all of this. All I can say is, for now, don't go to Mozambique. They're not friendly at all, at least not to people like me. The worst part is that I don't know where to file my complaint for this injustice meted on me. What I have now is social media to sound the alarm and to warn others who might want to visit to the God-forsaken country, Mozambique. Wow, guys, like, that is so sad. I feel like Africa needs to do better. And as she said, is this a tactic to prevent people, certain countries, from coming to their country? Like, is it a tactic? Like, what do you think? Because for you to not, for you to not disclose that information, or is it just that they don't care about tourism? But I feel like Mozambique has been sort of promoting tourism. Maybe they're promoting tourism to non-Africans. Like, is that it? I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on it? I just think it's super sad that people have to go through this. I think it's not just Mozambique. I think it's a lot of other African countries. Like, kudos to Kenya. Kenya is one of the countries that I love how transparent they are with, like, their visa. Who needs a visa, who doesn't. If you go on their e-visa platforms, it's easy to navigate. You're not jumping through hoops. You're not flying through hoops to get information, right? Mozambique needs to do better. Like, a lot of African countries need to do better, because we need to start promoting our continent to our continent, right? A lot of us are spending money going to Dubai, spending thousands of dollars, right? We need that money in our countries so that we can actually build and become a little bit self-sufficient and stop depending so much on, them, right? Like, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to hearing your stories too. Like, have you been to Mozambique before? Have you experienced something similar? Do you feel like there's a lack of information or transparency of information for travelers in general in Africa? Like, let me know your thoughts. Like, for me, that's another reason why I create all this, information videos where I got to travel information, because the truth is, it's actually, it's a mission, trying to get information, trying to get accurate information, right? And on the other hand, I also say this: if someone is, shouldn't that information have been checked when she was leaving Nigeria? Like, don't you have to check that you have the right requirements for where you're going to? So even between countries, between airlines, I feel like there's not maybe a central database. Maybe that should be something that, Africa needs to work on. Anyways, guys, like, it's such a painful story. I can't imagine traveling 22 hours to now have to get on the plane and go back to my country. Like, that would upset me. Like, I feel like No, I feel like my near deportation experience in the UK was definitely, it felt worse than this because I knew the implications were big, right? If you haven't seen that video of my near deportation, I'll link it up so you can check it out. But I can't imagine how she feels right now, like extremely painful. I feel for her, you know. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that information with you. And I always want to share it from a perspective of, you know, when it comes to getting your travel information, don't rely on the website. Don't rely on this information. Like, call. Yes, you might not have the Mozambique embassy in Nigeria or in Africa or wherever. Call the ones in London in the UK, right? That's what I always do when I travel, before I got my British passport anyway. But yes, guys, that is it. Thank you once again for watching. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a huge thumbs up. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.